Everything from the Armory is finally starting to crash. This is really good. We're going to be talking about why this matters and the patterns for charms that I'm going to be looking out for. Talking about the ROIs, if we want to look at it, we're starting to finally approach 100% ROIs for nearly everything. Talking about the collections, we're at 101% for the sport and field, 108% for the graphic, and about 110 for the overpass. This is really good because I want these to be absolutely flooded. I want low ROIs. I want people flooding the market with these skins so I can pick some up for an investment purpose. Talking about our stickers, we'll go a little bit deeper into them later, but they're starting to approach a point now where not everyone is going to be making instant profit. This is quite obvious. Obviously, these ROIs were absolutely insane before. People were doing a ton of them with their stars, and this is absolutely perfect. I have a lot of investments I'm trying to make into the sticker market. And finally, talking about these charms, we're sitting at 165 for the small arms, 153 for the missing link. These I expect to continue to go down right here because honestly, people are going to be redeeming these. Right now, these are the most appealing for a lot of people, and therefore the profitability is going to keep on decreasing. This is absolutely perfect. I love everything we're seeing about it. I'm excited that the Armory items are finally starting to crash. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're giving you a $10 bonus with code MasterShiny just to try them out. They're my go-to selling spot with the highest rate for sellers, and it's super easy to use. They're going to be currently the best option, paying over 100% when you use that $10 bonus. They're super trusted when it comes to transactions, and it took me just about 2 minutes for me to get my over $200 from this Emerald Jormungandr. They've got tons of different payout options, and they're also going to be having a super low fee buyer's marketplace. It's super easy, tons of deals cheaper than Steam, and tons of different deposit options. This deal won't last forever. Make sure you check them out today with that top link in the description. Now, going over charms, it's a lot of different areas, and I'm not going to get too deep into it. Overall, you can find this spreadsheet in the description along with this tweet thread. These are going to be two great resources to find out specifically what yours is worth. We're going to be going over the main points, starting off with the diecast AK. This is going to be one of the most popular ones out there, and there's a lot of different patterns. Basically, it comes down to the fact that you're going to be wanting to get one that is very unlikely. A couple big ones are going to be obviously the gold, the red, and the blue. These are going to be the three main categories a lot of people are looking for in this area. You can see the respective prices on this, and you can see the overall prices with the CSGO stocks graph. After that, we have the charms semi-precious. Now, this one is definitely not going to be super easy to price because there's a lot of different things, but the green and the black pearl is what it's called here, like a dark purple, relatively speaking, are going to be the most expensive. And with all of these charms, the biggest thing is if you've got one that's close to either 1 or 99999 in terms of the pattern template, that's going to be very expensive. People are overpaying a lot for those, even in your more normal categories. Here in the background, I'm going to be throwing up some more information. Overall, I think a lot of people are really focused in on the fact that they think every charm is going to be garnering overpay, and there's definitely a lot of charms in the current moment that are, just because we're so new into this area. People are overpaying way too much for way too many things. A lot of these charms honestly aren't very special, but people are still willing to overpay a lot for them, which is really good for you as a consumer if you're trying to go ahead and sell off your items. But overall, I don't think that, reasonably speaking, these prices are going to be lasting. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I'm going to be trying to sell off all these rare charms if I can get a strong amount of overpay, because honestly, I don't think these are going to be lasting. There's so many of these charms, especially at like the blue category where you're getting them so commonly. These charms are not going to be super expensive for very long unless you're talking about a pattern ID of 1 or 99999. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the sticker market is extremely exciting for me for one specific reason, and that's actually if we want to look at Riptide. Now, this is our closest comparison, and we can see that during Riptide, so many stickers went underdeveloped. The maximum profit that could have been made on them was absolutely insane, and honestly, I'm really hoping that it's going to repeat again here for the Armory collections. Now, when we're talking about stickers right now, a lot of them are starting to get down a little bit low in price. With that being said, unfortunately, I think we're still a fair bit away from making a solid investment. A lot of the stickers that get super cheap super quickly are honestly ones we're going to want to avoid. They don't have really any interest, but even looking at Riptide and the stickers that no one really wanted there, we can see that they're currently sitting at around a 20-cent price point, which from 3 cents is a massive profit, and we're talking about a percentage. But the biggest thing is when we're looking at these stickers that were around a 5-cent price point that are now sitting at $1 or even $2. Those are the stickers we're trying to find here inside of the Armory sticker collections. This is the massive profit potential that I personally look for when we're talking about stickers, and I think there are definitely some here, especially in the elemental craft. I think a lot of these water-based stickers, if they get cheap enough, I'm definitely going to be going in. The booms are a little bit unfortunate because I don't think they have as much potential, but there's so much opportunity inside of this area that we're going to try and capitalize on. But the most important thing to remember inside this area is it's way too early to make an investment for one specific reason. That's going to be the fact that we have that 1-week trade hold. If we want to look at it overall, the Armory is going to keep on decreasing in price because the ROI is over 100%, and we have to wait a week for those people to be able to list their items. That's why these ROIs are still so high, because people have to wait a week to sell them. Overall, it is not a good time to make an investment just yet. I would definitely suggest picking out the items that you want to make an investment into though, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, talking about those collections, we mentioned earlier that they are down to nearly 100% unboxing ROI nearly all across the board, and it's very important that we do reiterate that honestly, I think these are going to be going a lot lower inside of this area, these are the #1 most attractive thing for people to go ahead and spend their stars or their credits on. And honestly, I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. People are still looking at that very expensive price point that those covert skins offer, and this is a perfect opportunity for them to go ahead and gamble and not really have too much on the line because they don't feel like they directly paid for it. This is the perfect psychology Valve uses every single time to make sure people are spending their money on collections, because collections are the most generative for the profit-wise for Valve. It's absolutely insane, the psychological horror that they're kind of doing on these people, but when it comes to investing, it's not too bad of a thing for us because obviously that's going to flood the market with all of these skins. Absolutely perfect, ideally what we're looking for, because we're trying to make an investment into these areas, because theoretically these collections aren't going to be sticking around forever, and collections usually have a massive profit potential behind them. Overall, I'm not making any investments just yet. We're still looking at about 15 to 20 cents for the cheapest of the light blue skins, and that's way too expensive for me personally to try and make an investment just yet, but overall I'm definitely excited to see where this area goes. And then finally, the last thing that has crashed beyond belief is going to be that Deagle limited item heat treated. Now inside of this area, I have actually picked up a couple of these. I've thrown up a buy order, and that's just because the slight chance that you're going to be able to get a blue gem for absolutely free for just that buy order. Honestly, these are something I'm going to throw in a storage unit just because they are a limited time item. I definitely think there could be some very strong influence once they actually get removed in terms of their price, but they're still a really big expensive price point as of now. They're probably going to be getting a little bit cheaper, probably not too much though, because people are starting to avoid them. Another really important thing I want to point out here is just how quickly the general market was able to recover from the overall Armory update. If we want to talk about cases, we can see the drastic drop that we saw, nearly about 20-25% overnight, and then it was nearly recovered by the next couple days. That's crazy, especially when we talk about an operation drop usually taking about 4 months for Riptide to recover. The fact it did it in just a couple days shows definitely that a lot of people are still very invested into the CS2 investing scene, but overall it's going to be a lot harder to find these hidden gem investments from the Armory. If we saw how quickly rare cases picked up in price because people knew nothing fundamentally changed about them, it's not going to be super easy to find a ton of great investments from the Armory without actually taking a decent dive into it. We're also getting to the point now where we need to start thinking about what the next potential market crash is going to be, and the definite next thing on the horizon is going to be the Shanghai Major. Now I don't think it's going to be absolutely massive, but it's probably not going to be very beneficial for Armory items. Honestly, a lot of people that are grinding out the passes right now for profit are the same people that are going to be selling off those items when the next thing comes around that they need money for. That's definitely going to be the Shanghai Major, whether they're buying passes, just capsules, or general items. They're probably going to be wanting to have those, especially if they're not someone that's putting a lot of new money into the game. Now coming down to the big question, at the end of the day, should you be selling off your items? And honestly, it's a little bit of a mixed answer. If we're talking about the more expensive items that you think are going to keep on decreasing in price, I would say there's no reason why you should actually be holding on to these. I would go ahead, sell, get your money out of this area, because honestly, Armory items are one of the most volatile in the current market. If you're talking about something that's like a 7-cent sticker, honestly at this point I would just hold on to it, throw it in a storage unit for many years to come. This is how I've made a lot of profit just with Riptide random things, Broken Fang random things. I think it's a perfect opportunity if you don't need that money this second. That's pretty much all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.